Hello, and today we'll begin day 2 for Vlad. Yeah. I woke up with a groan after a restless night, a tossing and turning. Kept having more strange dreams, memories, whatever you wanted to call them. I don't know if it was just the anxiety of starting up classes or what. Looking up the nutrition database code like Connor had wanted me to didn't really help much. I need to remember to have some I need to remember to have him make it up to me. In any case, by the time Dr. Abraham called up to make sure I was awake, I already taken a long shower and was in the middle of getting dressed. There wasn't any note from him when I finally made my way down to the kitchen, but there was another breakfast sandwich waiting for me. The night before had been interesting. Going to Freaks, meeting Mama Bell, getting to see what one of Vlad's souls involved. Watching the surly, dead-eyed, scratchy-voiced vulture I met in the student center at so bright and sailorless and free. I might have been just a little envious, truth be told. That whole drag thing was so different from anything I ever experienced that I couldn't help getting a little excited over it. Maybe interested was a better word. And from what Vlad had said, it seemed there would be a lot of other events at the club which would be just as interesting. He had said he would be out in the north parking lot during lunch. I made plans to swing by and find him. I was already looking forward to seeing more of him. As I approached the front gate at the university, the commotion up ahead derailed that train of thought. There were a lot of animals gathered around in the courtyard, way more than there had been the morning before, and a bunch of cars in front of the gate with flashing red and blue lights. There were even more animals in uniform trying to herd the students around or keep them away from the era. While craning to get a better look from the back of the gathered crowd, I felt a hand land on my shoulder. Fuck, Connor, don't do that. Sorry. Do you know what's going on? No, Joe, I just got here. Where's Camille? Haven't met up with him yet. I peered through the crowd and finally caught sight of the crocodile standing next to White and Liam. The lion was stone-faced, standing still as a statue, but the wolf. Who did this? Who the fuck did this? I'll kill him. Gotta tear the fucking throat out. Tears were streaming down his face as he snarled and howled. Camille was holding him tight by the shoulders, trying to keep the thrashing male in place. White, stop. Just stop, man. Tucker! There were a bunch of other students yelling too, screaming, some of them even crying like White was, and a few were pointing at something on top of a flagpole. I looked up and finally saw what all the commotion was about. Here, let's. I don't know. I said, yeah, man. I said just. I don't think I want to out Vlad. Get him in trouble. So I'll just pick this choice for right now. Vlad's words from earlier in the day prickled at the back of my mind. The ones who were in his clique. Wyatt was out, considering how badly he'd been affected by Tugger's death, and so was Camille. There was no way I'd expect one of my best friends of doing something like that. Leon was hard to read, but he'd been Tugger's right-handed man, so sounds to me like the ones who were closest to him are the most suspicious. The line gave me a glare. Are you trying to insinuate something? No, it's just, you said it yourself, right? Whoever did it would have needed to have the opportunity. Maybe. If you go by the gossip, there's a certain vulture who'd be the most likely suspect given his interests. That Vlad guy? I mean, I've heard some talk too. Camille kept quiet, but I could see the way he frowned at the mention of that name. I opened my mouth, ready to defend Vlad, but it seemed like I didn't have to. Wyatt huffed and gave the ground another kick. It wasn't him. And how can you be sure? I just am, alright? Camille, meanwhile, turned to start gathering up the equipment Wyatt had left behind, with Leon moving to help after a line gave me a dismissive glance. I took in a slow, deep breath, blew it out, and a long, heavy sigh, let all the tension, the anxiety, everything which had been boiling in my mind since that morning drained out of me. All the way I found myself meandering over towards the north parking lot. I had wanted to check in with Vlad again. Maybe I could talk with him some more about everything that was going on, or at least try to get my mind off of something. With that in mind, I looked around the area for any sign of the vulture. It didn't take too long to find him. He kind of stuck out against the bright surroundings, and besides, I've been expecting to see him there. What I wasn't expecting was to find him talking to Wyatt. My brow furrowed, so this was where he stormed off to after leaving the practice field. The thought that he wanted to take things out on Vlad crossed my mind, but deep breath in, slow, even breath out. I didn't want to assume anything, since Wyatt had been oddly willing to defend the vulture earlier, but still, after how they'd interacted the day before, I at least wanted to make sure there weren't any problems. So I decided to hang back and you know how things staying downwind, keeping my steps slow, soft and quiet. Just a little fucking sympathy. Oh, was that what you were after? Sorry, I'm fresh out. I'm not thrilled about this either, but I just thought, I mean, just help me, okay? Look, I know it's hard work being a simp, especially someone like Tucker, but you know what they say, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm sure you'll get over it and find somebody else who'll let you stick your nose up their ass. Was that sympathetic enough for you? But fuck you, you freak. In the middle of his outburst, Wyatt's ear twitched. He turned his head and caught sight of me. Rex, what are you doing here? Shit. Heaving out a sigh, I drew myself up and shrugged my stiff, tense shoulders. Vlad's expression remained stoic and flat while Wyatt furrowed his brow and peered hard at me, staring, probing. Huh? What, you got a problem with a pair of freaks flocking together? The wolf flipped an ear and let out a sharp snort of contempt at that. Fine, I know how to take a hint. Do you really? You sure about that? Another growl accompanied by a sullen glare, then a heavy sigh. Smell you later, freak. Likewise, pup. With that, Wyatt turned on his heel and stalked off, barely even acknowledging my presence anymore. I watched Vlad watching him go for a long, awkward moment just when I was about to speak up the votes of her. Thus the apex buffoon trotted off, wailing and dancing his teeth. What? Just think out loud. He turned towards me, eyes brightening up when they met towards me, eyes brightening up when they met my own. There were hints of a sardonic smile at the corners of his beak. So, yes, he came. Well, yeah, I did say I wanted to hang out some more. But, a vague gesture in the direction of Wyatt, Wyatt had left. What was all that about? What, you didn't overhear? A hot flash of embarrassment across my snout. I, didn't mean to eavesdrop, I just wanted to. Another huff as the vulture waved away my apology. Yes, I should thank you for dropping him off at least. Don't worry about it too much. Was he giving you trouble? No more than usual, but apparently there are some fools on campus who got it in their heads that I'm a therapist or something. Surely the reason I'm not crying my eyes out over poor Tucker is that I'm good at processing my grief, and surely I'm such a kind soul that I'd be willing to help them process theirs. I guess it's better than people thinking I had something to do with it, if only marginally. I guess so. Anyway, I'm sure there's far more pleasant things we could be talking about right now. Like, we were both in need of a distraction from everything that was going on. It seemed I hit at the ground while rubbing at my nape. So, what do you want to do? I could see the tension start to ease out of his shoulders as well. The vulture shifted from foot to foot and looked out over the parking lot. I caught a slight hint of the corner of his beak perking upward. Well, I did have some plans, and I suppose I wouldn't mind you tagging along if you behave yourself. Sure. Are you going to Freaks again? The thought of seeing him perform again, even if he wasn't in drag, got my heart pounding and my stomach fluttering. Nope, I'm off today. Oh. I coughed to clear my throat and shuffled my feet. Cool. So, what was it you had planned then? The vulture opened his mouth to reply, but before he could, the passenger side window of a car had just pulled up and parked rolled down, and a voice called out from within. Hey, bitch. The snake leaning out the window gave Vlad a wide grin while the car's driver climbed out on the other side. Piling as always, Victor. Okay, so if you go to there's something special here, this bloodsucker right here. You remember this? It's been exactly a year now since he played that part. But anyway, this bat Victor, he is Yusuf's boyfriend right here. So it's like we get to see him again. One of Yusuf a heavy part in this since he and the bat hero boyfriends Let's see about that. The bat gave the vulture a fang-filled smile as well. I'll try. Oh, who's our new friend? He's cute. The snake, who also climbed out of the car by then, sauntered over to join me, and Vlad on the sidewalk, looking me up and down with glimmering eyes, his tongue flicking out from between his lips. He is, isn't he? This is Rex. He is, isn't he? This is Rex. Good to meet you. The long ingrained decorum compelled me to offer my hand to the flamboyantly dressed snake. He took hold of it, his thumb stroking over my wrist, and spoke again in that soft, raspy, high-pitched voice. So you're the Rex Vlad's been talking about. The pleasure's all mine. I'm Todd, and you are a delicious little snack, aren't you? He's also 18, so I forgot to mention that part. The snake froze. Ah. His grip shifted and he gave me a firm, polite handshake. Well then, it's good to meet you. Victor burst into laughter at that, and while he was hiding behind a hand, I could hear Vlad croaking out a few quiet snickers. Sorry, Todd. Looks like you'll have to take your manhunting somewhere else. Phooey. I huffed as Todd released my hand and allowing the bat to step forward and offer his. Good to meet you. Likewise. I smiled a polite cough to clear my throat. So, you guys are Vlad's friends? Yeah, more or less. Yep. Vlad just rolled his eyes, more traces of a faint smile lingering at the corners of his beak. I guess I owe these two a proper introduction. Mr. Serpent of Temptation here does drags at Foyt's too, and is the biggest queen who ever snatched a wig. And don't you forget it. Okay, I won't. As for the dapper bat, he's trying to carve out a career as an indie goth rock guitarist. Some might say he's even been successful. The dapper bat, as Vlad described him, leaned in closer and lowered his voice to a conspiratorial murmur. He tries to pretend he's not my biggest fan, but somehow always ends up at every one of my souls. Pure coincidence, I assure you. Right. I look back and forth between the two of them. Over the top, receiving a male smirk, receiving a small smirk, and a waking return, taking in their banter the easygoing camaraderie. The tension slowly eased out of my shoulders and neck. Hey, alright, cool. You guys seem like nice people. Oh no, sweetie, I'm also the baddest bitch you ever meet. And I've got a nasty bite that I'm not afraid to use. These things aren't just for show, you know. Go easy on him, boys. West is far too innocent for you dealers quips. Innocent? Ouch, coming from the snark king himself. Alright, we'll play nice with him. Yeah, sorry about that, Rex. We're actually pretty nice when you get to know us. Well, decent enough at least. Hey, I can tell when someone's being sarcastic or joking, mostly. Todd turned to look over at Vlad. Oh yeah, we're definitely keeping him. Good to know you approve. The trio seemed amused at my general bewilderment, but when Vlad looked over at me, the corners of his beak perked upward, there was something reassuring in his not quite flat gaze. So Rex, are you about ready to turn tail and flee yet? Or do you think you wouldn't mind hanging around our little group of freaks and misfits a while longer? Deep breath in, slow breath out. Then a small but toothy smile of my own. Nah, I'm fine right here with you guys. Good. Although, right here might not be such a good idea, at least for the day. He shot a pointed look over at one of the security cameras who was patrolling the parking lot. The security guards was patrolling the parking lot. The rhino was peering over our group. The scowl on his face made the scales on the back of my neck prickle. Yeah, as much as I love being your chauffeur, I'm not looking forward to another round of 20 questions with campus security. Do you think they give us trouble? Two randos coming on campus right after a murderous skulk around the parking lot with sword squatty and snarky here. No, I don't think they have any problem with that. That's the $20 they're gonna have this place locked up tighter than a humble fool's ass by tomorrow. Suckers bet. What? Even as I tried to process even as I tried to process that, I was right back to thinking about what had happened. While Victor ushered us over to his car, and we all climbed in, him and Todd in the front, Vlad and I in the back. While the Vulture, Snake, and Bear continued to chat amongst themselves over the sound of heavy pounding rhythmic music from the speakers. While we drove off campus in a short distance away, stopping in the parking lot of a nearby fast food place, McCree's. Want anything, Vlad? Rex? Now I'm trying to watch my figure. I'm good. Victor and Todd went in to order while Vlad and I stayed behind, leaning against the Bat's car and listening to the sounds of the city around us, breathing in the fresh enough air. In and then out. In, out. Alright, out with it. What's up? I flinched, my train of thought broken, looked over at him, meeting that flat gaze of his, looked away, just thinking. About Tucker? How? I quite snored. You've been looking like you're about to lose your lunch since V and T opened their fat mouths about it back there. V and Victor and Todd. Oh, right. He heaved out a sigh, then crossed his arms over his chest. Obsessing about it isn't going to change things. He's dead, and life goes on. I could just say that. Look, I don't want to be an asshole about it, but that's the way it is. What are we talking about? The Snake and Bat were making their way back over to us, fast food bags and drinks in hand. Hey, you guys really did hear about what happened to Tucker, right? I mean, yeah. It's been all over social media all day. Pretty gruesome, all that. But it's kind of exciting in a way, too, don't you think? It's like the start of a thriller movie. You really don't care about it at all? They didn't respond right away. Todd took a slow sip of his drink. Victor set his cup on the hood of the car, then rifled around in his bag for a few fries to munch on. I mean, it's whatever. It sucks, yeah, but it's not like it had anything to do with us. If you cry over every asshole who dies, you're just gonna drown the world. Wait, shit, that's actually pretty good. While he pulled a notebook out of his coat pocket and jotted something down, Todd turned to look over at me with an easygoing smile. There's no reason to go cray-cray about it. Speaking personally, it's not like Tucker was someone I want to mourn for. Speaking personally, since he's being even more of a headache, dead than he was alive, I second that. Oh, communing with the spirits of the dead, are we? Shut up, Todd. Victor let out a quiet grunt while tucking his notebook back into his pocket. Let me guess, you've been getting funny looks because the rest of the body was missing? As the bat reached into his bag again, Vlad did the same, snatched a few fries for himself. In a word, yes. Conforming to stereotypes aside, it always sucks to get set for something we absolutely have no involvement in. Hey, we don't know that for sure. Maybe Vlad has the rest of Tucker's body tucked away in his basement or something. Shut up, Todd. Even as he waved a hand in the snake's direction, like he was trying to fan away a foul odor, there was a glimmer of amusement in Vlad's eyes. Like I want to keep a piece of shit like that around the stick of the place. Victor and Todd both laughed, airy and carefree in response to the vulture. How can you guys even joke about something like that? My stomach was rolling, my shoulders and jaw and throat feeling tight. My stomach was rolling, my shoulders and jaw, throat My stomach was whirling, my shoulders and jaw, throat, feeling tight. His head was mounted on top of a flagpole. They killed him just because, and they wanted everyone to know it. They were proud of killing him. Every instinct leaking from deep in my hindbrain snarled at the very idea. Food was food, but killing just because was a waste. It was wrong. Another roil in my stomach. I was saying this time when I registered the way they were all looking at me. I'm sorry. Nah, we should probably be the ones saying that. Look, if you're affected that much by his death, then it would probably be good for you to vent it out. Just because it's not a big deal to us doesn't mean your feelings aren't valid. Yeah, sorry, Rex. Vlad huffed and grimaced, but after a moment, the pursed corners of his beak loosened up. Tucker was an asshole, and if you knew what he was like, what he was really like, then you agree that he's not worth the time or effort to care about that much. Whether or not that was true, Tucker did have people who cared about him, Camille and Wyatt included. That said, I can understand why you're so shaken up about it. As much as an asshole as he was, what happened to him was pretty gruesome. And, well, there's a fucking murderer on the loose. We don't know anything about them either, who they are, where they are, why they killed Tucker, or what they've got planned next. Well, when you put it that way, it is pretty terrifying. Not that I'll be losing any precious beauty sleep over it, but still. Honestly, it's probably best to just not think about it. There's a million bad things that could happen to you for a million different reasons at any given moment. Worrying about every single one isn't going to help. Maybe, but Vlad continued to watch my expression for a moment before speaking up again. If you still need to get the thoughts out of your head, do you end up doing what I said you should probably do? I did actually, but it wasn't a lot. Well then, if you insist on thinking about it, why don't you go over everything and see if that will help put your mind to rest? More thinking, but at least I hope others who could help me try to understand. But at least I had others who could help me try to understand. Will you guys be okay with that? Sure, that might be fun. Go for it. I did say you could vent to us, so I took a few deep breaths to steady myself, thought back over the previous few hours, and then told them everything I heard from Connor and Liam. A specialized knife, an entire limo, complete with bodyguards slash lackeys slash whatever, just disappearing into the ether. Maybe you're right, Todd. Maybe this is a thriller movie or something. Vlad's eyes narrowed as he peered over at me. This kind of guy, seems pretty well informed. Are you trying to say something? I shrugged. I'm just saying. Anyway, was there anything else? Well, no. That was all. I sighed and scratched at my name. Maybe this really was a waste of time and effort. Lucky for you, I've been seeing enough fools yapping about it on social media to put together a basic timeline of events. Oh, so you really do care. I didn't say that. But if everyone's going to be pointing fingers at the local freak, I may as well keep myself informed about what I'm being accused of doing. He looked back over at me, his scowl softened just a little. And if we put together what you've heard with what I've been able to glean, maybe we can figure something out about a mysterious killer. Maybe. So, what have you been able to glean? His expression went flat again, but his raspy, croaking voice was less sarcastic and more serious. We know Tucker was hosting a party at Tower Row House. He spent the time drinking and making merry, and that's when a girl named Bailey kicked him in the dick for sexually harassing her. #deserved. Bailey, so that was her name. After that, Tucker stayed lying on the couch until just before 7:30 when he was escorted into his limo by two of his guards, servants. Okay, so Tucker's witch. He's a witch guy, so I figured it'd be. I didn't think he had a limo, but I figured he'd be kind of witch, since he gets away with stuff. His parents must be people who fund the university, or not fund the university, or they're like alumni who made it big after graduating from college, and they spend a lot of money on the university, so they have some sway, I guess. That's just my opinion. Excuse me. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that was the last time Tucker was seen alive. And this morning, sometime before classes were supposed to start at 8, his head was discovered impaled on top of the flagpole. Police were called to investigate, and when the records from students and faculty became too much, they cleared out the area and started interviewing everyone on the campus. 7:30, just like the police officer in Liam had said, what had happened to Tucker between then and this morning. So, okay. 7:30, just like the police officer in Liam had said, what had happened to Tucker between then and this morning. And that's everything we know. Not quite enough to figure out who did kill him out of all the people who would want to kill him. I guess. Who would want to kill him, though? Do you want that list alphabetically or by area code? What? The voice inside needed the space between his eyes with a thumb and forefinger. The thing about people like Tucker is that they have a lot of enemies, both known and unknown. You don't get to his level of privileged asshole without stepping on a few toes, at the very least. That made sense. It did take less than a few minutes after we met for me to start hating him. Actually wanted to kill him, on the other hand, was a completely different story. I suppose we could go through the list of possible suspects from who we do know. The killer had to be someone who was either close to Tucker, or who knew exactly when and where he would be last night. Which narrows it down to pretty much everyone on campus. But they also had to be someone who could murder a rich and powerful person without leaving any evidence, and also put a head on top of a public flagpole without anyone noticing. Somebody slick, clever, stealthy, and most importantly, intelligent. So somebody like you? Oh wait, you're not slick, never mind. Thank you so much for your meaningful input, Victor. Always. I mean, someone who wanted to put a head up on a flagpole in the first place would have to be pretty slick. Would have to be a pretty sick puppy, and that's not even getting into what they might be doing with the rest of them. After a moment of contemplating that, we all silently agreed to put an end to that train of thought. Anyway, detective, do you have any ideas about who did it? There's a few people I've got in mind. First is Bailey, who both has a motive for killing Tucker and was in position to harm him directly. But I think we can rule her out. Fucker's murder was clearly planned out before the party, and I doubt she could pull off disappearing his goons and displaying his head without getting caught. I just wanted to bring her up because they've been a lot of idiots pointing fingers at her too. Your Honor, they just hate to see a girl boss winning. What Vlad was saying made sense. Unless Bailey had a lot of other people to help her with killing Tucker and putting his head on a flagpole, it wouldn't be possible for her to be the murderer, no matter how much of a reason she would have had for it. And more likely, suspect is Liam. His family's incredibly wealthy, just like Tucker's, and has been tied up with the Thompsons for generations. So he's got the money and the means to make it happen. Okay, so Liam is rich also. And that's for motive. I guess, I mean, before we continue, he does have a similar. He's pretty similar to Tucker. Both of them like jerks and just look down on other people. So, guess when you're wealthy and rich and wealthy, that will make you that type of person. Make you look down on people. But again, not all rich and wealthy people like that, but a lot of them. So, yeah. Leon was wealthy too. What about Wyatt? I wonder he's wealthy. I mean, both of them are. I mean, both Liam and Tucker are apexes, so yeah, there'll probably be a lot of rich apexes since they have, since they're like dominant when it comes to political power and wealth in this world. And as for motive, you guys know the motive. You guys know that movie, Hannah's? OMG, yes. I love that movie. Good, then you know how the Hannah's consists of the main boss bitch, the right hand bitch, and the dumb bitch. But when the main bitch dies, it doesn't take long for the right hand bitch to go man with power become the new boss bitch. Bitch, I have no idea what you just said. What I'm saying is, Liam might have been waiting for the chance to remove Tucker from the equation so he can be the king of the jungle being Mammoth University. And considering he's been in charge of cleaning up Tucker's mess since high school, I wouldn't doubt that he hates the former main boss bitch just as much as everyone else. It's possible, but why now? Like you said, he's been dealing with Tucker for years, so why wait until last night to have him murked? Maybe he was waiting for the perfect opportunity to do it and get away with it, or maybe he just finally had enough of Tucker's shit. Could it really be that simple? Alright, let me go back real quick. But when the main boss bitch dies, it doesn't take long for the right hand bitch to go mad with power and become the new boss bitch. In Camille's route, after Tucker dies, Leon replaces him as the new captain of the football team, and he seemed to go really mad with power. Cursing everybody out and yelling at them and making sarcastic comments towards people like towards Rex. I forgot how he said it, but it's kind of like while they were practicing, and it was Rex's first time out there practicing, and he said something real sarcastic, and Leon said something real sarcastic about the way Rex played. I guess there's nothing wrong with being a loser or something like that. I don't think he didn't say it, but call him a loser, but it sounded like that. There's nothing wrong with being, mediocre. So, yeah, we got to see that in Camille's route. Liam becoming a new power on the football team. It's a captain, and he's losing his mind with all that new power he got. Last but not least, there's the guards who got Tucker into his limo after the party. They had the perfect opportunity to kill him and dispose of the body without anyone else finding out. And as his personal guards / drivers, they were trusted enough to get him alone while he was drunk, enough to get in close and stab him in the back. They'd also have the physical training needed to both pull off a murder like this and get his head up on a flagpole. Couple that with the fact that they and the car They were driving disappeared, and they seemed like they'd be the perfect suspects. The only issue is that we don't know enough about them to say why they want their employer's son dead. If they had a problem with Tucker, they could have just quit, unless they were paid off by someone else. Who knows? Thoughts rolled around in my head. Means and motives, reasons to want Tucker dead, and ways to get his head displayed for everyone to see after doing it. Who could have murdered him? Who could have wanted to murder him? Was it someone I knew? Someone I didn't know? Someone manipulating things from the shadows? There were too many possibilities if I thought about it that way. Anyone could have done it. Even Billy, even Liam, even Vlad, or Connor, Camille, or... I flinched almost, snarled, snapped, growled, and Victor set a calming hand on my tensed up shoulder. I think that's just about enough of that. The bat looked from me over to Vlad, his concern expressing growing stern. Trying to think it over as a mental exercise is all fine and dandy, but don't forget that someone, a piece of shit, yes, but still someone, was murdered, and the police are already in the middle of investigating. There's no need to stress out about it when you're facing next impossible odds. This isn't some YA mystery novel where you can just decide to play detective and find the killer in a few months. And besides, I thought you didn't care about Tucker getting murdered. I don't. But there's a murderer on the loose, and they were able to kill fucking Tucker and get away with it. And so you're jealous then? No. Well, maybe a little. He let out a long, low, croaking groan, then gave the bat a glare. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of nuance missing when the police question people, and I just so happen to know a lot that might end up revealing the identity of the killer. I got perspective and intuition, and while there might not be much to go on now, if we just persist and use our wits, then we just might be able to solve this case. You need to touch grass. What? Or ass. Both would be good for you. I could help with that if you like. Sit up, Tot. Victor held his bag out to Vlad, offering the scavenger the last few of his fries after a while, but after a little more moments of sullen glaring, the vulture took them and stuffed them into his beak. I'm not saying this to be Officer Killjoy. I just don't want you straining your mental health over it. Victor's got a point. You're putting way too much pressure on yourself, and if you keep stressing out, you're just gonna give yourself even more wrinkles. Vlad took a deep breath, then huffed out a heavy sigh. Fine, you guys are right. And besides, we got more important things to do than lose sleep over who might or might not have killed Tucker. He looked over at me then, and I could see a hint of an apologetic look in his eyes. On the other hand, talking more about the case, maybe even trying to solve it with Vlad and his friends, sounded fun, even if it was stressful and even if there really wasn't a lot to go on yet. On the other hand, I'd already done so much thinking that day. Maybe we could talk about something else for a while. I like hanging out with you guys. If you're really sure, then I suppose it's your funeral. I chuckled, and then he gave me a softer smile. Being serious, you seem pretty chill. It would be great to have you in our little clique. Yeah. And besides, it's not every day Vlad makes a new friend, so we've got to make sure you have a reason to stick around. You don't have to be so blunt. The snake let out a soft hissing giggle while flapping a hand in the vulture's direction. Actually, there was something I wanted to ask. Well, we may just have an answer. What is it? What's a girl boss? Todd turned to look over at Vlad, crossing his arms, and gave the vulture a wide, fang-filled smile. I think I'm going to like this guy. As Todd and Victor finished their meals, while the sky grew pink and orange far above us, the trio, mostly the snake, taught me all about girl bossing and what hashtag meant, and so many other things I never learned from my education at the lab. So he must have, well, looks like Rex has been living a sheltered life, you know, since he's really a primary species, you know. If you want to learn more about primary species, you can look that up, I think in the settings or the main menu, but basically they're like, let's look it up real quick. I think the codex. Allosaurus that was brought to the modern era through complicated methods. You have been homeschooled up until your first day. I call it to have had limited contact with the outside world in that time. Yeah, so yeah, he's been living a sheltered life, so he doesn't know what hashtag is, though I don't really care about him not knowing what a girl boss is, but you know, him not knowing what hashtag is. What was that? All the information about primary and secondary was the apex was missing. Yeah, well, let me take. Okay, so they got their own bottles now. Alright, so Ryan, who's Mama Bell, in drag, he is 28, species fox squirrel, height 133 centimeters or 5 feet 8 inches. The drag queen you met the first time you went to Freaks while performing, he's known as Mama Bell, who will come up with a catchy tagline, Dag Nabbit. An up-and-coming bastards and a waiter for Freaks, incredibly laid back and cool as ice. He's the walking definition of a perky goth. He's also been open about his love for big beefy bottoms and always gives a thumbs up whenever he meets another guy who says it's passing. 26, species terciopello, height 183 centimeters, 6 feet. A very fabulous and extra snake who performs at Freaks. He's very feminine, kind to his friends, and super invested in pop music by female musicians. He also thinks conservative and homophobic men make for better boyfriends, which knows to sit out of his friends. Alright, so we gotta look at all of them. I was pretty sure Dr. Abraham would have an aneurysm if he heard some of the things Mr. Serpent of Temptation and Vlad I was pretty sure Dr. Abraham would have an aneurysm if he heard some of the things Mr. Serpent of Temptation, as Vlad had called him, told me. But just like the night before at Freaks, it was a glimpse into an entire world of freedom I never even imagined. And I was like, slave bitch, you worked that. It was super cray-cray. He wouldn't stop screaming for like 5 minutes, which is probably why my ears were ringing for the entire rest of the night. You had to have been there. It does sound like a lot of fun. Do you think you guys would be okay with me going with you sometime in the future? Well, Madam Mills a lot concerns. Madam Mills a lot concerts can be a good time, but her music is not for everyone. I suggest listening to some of her songs first before you commit to wanting to see her live. Oh, I've got all her albums on my phone. You can listen to them right now. The snake pulled said phone out of his pocket, but just as he was swiping to unlock it, he noticed the time. His eager smile soured into a pout. Boo, on second thought, I gotta go get ready for work. It is getting to be about that time. Say hi to Ryan and Bernardo for me. I said probably get going too. Maybe. There's a lot of ambulance sirens going off, so it's distracted me. Okay, they're going now. I should probably get going too. When you get the time, make sure to listen to some Madam for me, okay? Will do. Need me to give you a ride to wherever you're going, Rex? Oh no, I can just walk home from here. Thank you though. But I hesitated, looking over to Vlad. Will you mind waiting with me for a bit? I kind of wanted to talk to you in private. Vlad perked up one of his brows, looking right back at me, and then shrugged. Yeah, that would be fine by me. I don't have anything else going on tonight. Riddick and Todd gave one another sideways glance. The bat's eyes glimmered as a fang peeked out from between his smirking lips. The snake hissed out another giggle. I suppose that's our cue. Take good care of Vlad, Rex. Hope you two have a good time together. Before either Vlad or I could respond, the pair hopped into Victor's car. We backed away while the bat turned on the engine, pulled out, and drove off. Vlad rolled his eyes and snorted. Fucking, of course. Is something wrong? Another sigh, and then the vulture's scowl softened into a small frown. No, nothing's wrong. They just always assume I have evil intentions towards anyone I introduce to them. Evil intentions? He glanced my way, his expression changed again. For a moment it was Mistress Morgana giving me a smirk and a curt giggle. You're a small boy. You'll figure it out soon. Okay. Then he ruffled a hand through his feathers, and it was Vlad looking over at me again. Anyway, you're going home? Yeah. It's not going to be too far out of your way, is it? It was a pretty forward request, I knew that, but there really were a few things I wanted to talk with the Vulture about, just us two. What better opportunity? Said Vulture perked up one corner of his lip and let out a huff through his nostrils. If I thought it would be, I wouldn't have accepted the invitation. And gestured towards a parking lot exit. Lead the way. And so that's what I did. I made my way back towards the lab complex, walking side by side with Vlad, and the further we walked together, the more I noticed his usual flat expression easing into a relaxed half smile. I have to say, I wasn't expecting you to want me to walk with you home. Well, a soft, sheepish cough. I'm fine walking by myself, but I do tend to walk with one of my friends whenever I go home after spending time outside the house, so I just thought, well, Camille, right? I blinked. Yeah, actually, how do you know that? He let out a quiet cough of his own. I noticed that he was trying to keep you quiet yesterday, and you don't seem like the type to spend time with people who harass you like that unless you consider them your friend. Yeah, that's actually a pretty good deduction. Maybe you would make a good detective. The Vulture answered with a light, crackling laugh. Thanks. So you wanted to talk in private? Oh, right. A deep breath in as I reached out to rub and scratch over the scales of my jawline. Do you really think you'd be able to solve Tucker's murder? And if you do, can I help? You're just full of surprises today, aren't you? I opened my mouth to apologize, but he was already waving it away before I could. Honestly, I don't know if we'll be able to solve it. So far, we got no leads, no way to narrow down suspects, and no clue on where to even start. But if whoever did it is planning to kill someone else, we should do whatever it takes to stop them, shouldn't we? Yeah. I peered over at the vulture's face for a long moment, then felt a smile tugging my lips upward. So, you do care. Oh, shut up. Despite his words and despite the way he waved a hand in my direction, he was chuckling right along with me. I think, I may be wrong, but I think Vlad is only interested in this case so, to prevent other people from getting killed, not really because he cares about Tucker. He just wants to make sure this person doesn't kill anybody else. That's my personal opinion. It could be wrong, but that's my opinion. Do you think Victor and Todd would want to help out too? He gave me a shrug in response. Maybe. They're pretty dependable when it comes down to it. Besides, 2 heads are better than 1, and 4 heads are better than 2. And just so they can stop worrying those pretty little heads of theirs over straining our mental health, maybe we can just spend an hour or so a day on our investigation. If it becomes too much, we can take the day off or something. That might be a good way to go about it, and even if we don't come up with anything, at least we tried our best, right? Right. On that note, do you have any other thoughts about it right now? Victor kind of cut you off, so. As he continued walking along beside me, he stuffed his hands deeper into his pockets and looked up towards the darkening sky. I was just going to run down the list of all the possible suspects I know about, even if they don't exactly have a motive or the means to pull it off. If you really think about it, anyone could have done it. Most of those tense, but I didn't say anything. If you really want to stretch things, it could have even been Tucker himself for all we know. Maybe he finally got tired of being a wit's apex asshole and decided the world would be better off without him. Maybe he paid off those bodyguards of his to kill him nice and peacefully, put his head on display as some kind of fucked up mea culpa, and then fuck off to some tropical beach somewhere to spend the rest of his days. It would give him death, that's for sure. That's kind of sad to think about it. To have a life so awful that the only thing you can do is end it. Well, that would describe Tucker pretty amply. Even if he didn't die last night, he'd have spent his entire life being a miserable piece of shit. It is better for him this way. I shivered, the scales in my neck prickled. Vlad glanced over at me, his expression softened. He let out a heavy sigh. Just to be clear, I really don't advocate for anyone killing themselves or even getting murdered. Whether or not Tucker deserved it, whoever killed him is just as awful. Life is precious, and ideally no one should have to die before their time. But it's a fact of life that some people really do just make the world worse with their actions. And if them being taken out of it improves things, they have no one to blame for that but themselves. That's a lot to think about. It is, but when you're an adult, you have to think about it. Or else you're only deluding yourself. The world doesn't give a shit about your ideals if you can't face the truth. Vlad let out a deep sigh. Just wish it wasn't so fucking complicated. Was that really the truth? Tucker may or may not have deserved death, but he did. But did he have to die? Was he really so awful that he couldn't have grown into a better animal? A quiet cough from the vulture broke me out of my thoughts. If you're wondering who else could be a possible suspect, I have a few ideas, but nothing concrete outside what I've already said. Maybe another member of the football team was involved. Maybe it was someone who Tucker hurt badly in the past, or maybe it was just some random asshole. But if I had to put my money on it, I'd say either Liam or the bodyguards are the biggest suspects. Maybe even both. What do you think? What did I think? I didn't want to think about anyone I knew being a murderer, but at the same time, that comment he made about how anyone could have done it kept prickling in my mind and whirling in my gut. I furrowed my brow, took a deep breath in, and blew out all the tension and anxiety that had been building up ever since that morning. Then I thought about it. Yeah, boy. Who could have killed Tucker? I don't know. Why are you giving me this choice? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so I had to pause for a second, but anyway, I don't know. We don't know. Could have been Liam, maybe his bodyguards, maybe it might have been the rabbit. Him getting outraged, Wyatt, him getting outraged, that could have been an act. But again, maybe not. He probably was very close to Tucker. Maybe not him. Connor doesn't like Tucker. I don't know why Camille would kill Tucker, because Tucker's the reason why Camille's on the football team, and he did a lot for Camille, so I don't know why Camille would do that to Tucker. But again, it could be Tucker himself. Maybe he just got tired of his life, being there with his family, and so I assume there's high expectations for him once he finishes college, to succeed, like in these rich families, they want kind of like a successor, to continue the family name and their influence. So maybe Tucker just had enough and either killed himself or got people to kill himself or put on an act. It was he either killed himself and he managed to find himself somewhere else to live, I guess. I don't know. But again, that's his head, so that couldn't have been him faking his death. That had to be himself, actually. So maybe he just wanted himself killed and he just didn't want to live anymore. But again, I do not know. I don't know. I don't know what choice I make if it will change the story, but I'm just gonna guess maybe Liam or Bailey, because he sexually assaulted her at that party, so he may not. I don't think she did it. She may not have liked it. She didn't like it, but don't think she would go that far. I don't think she would go that far. I'm just gonna say, I'm kind of safe right here. I'm gonna save right here, then once I finish this update, make a separate save right here, so maybe in the future I can come back to this choice. This is a really difficult choice to make here. I really don't know. I'm just gonna guess Liam. As the vulture said, it made the most sense. He had the motive and the means. And maybe the bodyguards were just the ones doing the dirty work. Maybe they were in hiding, or maybe they'd already been disposed of. It may have sounded like the plot of a thriller movie or something like that, but I tried to think back, going over everything I've seen of Liam's demeanor. He'd been so calm and collected about everything, even after Tucker's death. Was that an indication of how he felt about the Tucker being gone? No matter how you slice it, he's the only suspect who fits the who done it, how done it, and why done it. If we were gonna play detective, then trying to get a read on him may just be our best option. Yeah, maybe. Another heavy sigh from the vulture as he needed the space between his eyes. Maybe Victor does have a point. As much as a smug piece of shit as he can be, it's probably not healthy to think about anyone or everyone being a possible murderer. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't really like this either. I want to trust that people around me wouldn't do something so awful. Hey, Vlad. What's up? Do you even like your friends? Where the fuck did that come from? Heat had bloomed across my snout as I ducked my head. Perhaps that had been a little bit out of nowhere, but a thought had been simmering in my mind since I had met the snake and bat. So there had been moments where Connor, Camille, and I had gotten snarky with each other, but maybe it was just coming off the wrong way because I'm new to your clique, but the way you treat them seems pretty nasty sometimes. Vlad just stared at me, frowning. He clapped his beak. He took a deep breath and then sighed. You're right about one thing. You're taking things the wrong way. That's just how V, T, and I fuck around. We don't mean anything seriously when we're sitting on each other. Our group of that's just our group dynamic. And I can assure you that if you ask them about it, they say the same thing. Okay, if you say so. It's just they seem like nice guys, and hearing you talk about them that way got me worried. I don't know. He's saying that's about being a little nice to yourself wouldn't hurt, you know. Look at this one. Mm, I think more like the other option. Oh, how come? I started directing my gaze forward once more towards the lab complex. It's like Camille's actually a great guy, even if he does hang out with Wyatt and Leon Man. A heavy sigh. We joke around a lot, and it's fun to spend time with him, but it's like I always have to keep myself in check about him, you know? If I said anything like what you, V, and T say to each other to him, I'd probably hurt his feelings or make things awkward between us. The thought of doing something like that to one of my best friends hurt, yes, but at the same time, there was a faint twinge of bitter frustration in my throat. Vlad snorted, keeping his own gaze forward. His voice, though, was quiet and lacked its usual rasp when he spoke up. That's just how jocks are. No matter how easygoing they seem, they've always got a stick up their ass that they have to make your problem if you try getting too casual with them. Hoss, but that did sum Camille up pretty well. Again. No matter how easy going they seem, they've always got a stick up their ass that they have to make your problem if you try getting too casual with them. Not that I never say so to a crocodile's face. You don't have to worry about that with us, though. You can speak your mind around me, V and T, and we won't give you a hard time for shit as long as you don't give us a hard time either. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. You piece of shit. The vulture stared at me wide-eyed and then burst out into raucous, croaking laughter. Yeah, don't try to force it, dumbass. You'll get the hang of our vibe sooner or later. I winced an awkward laugh of my own, and then a small and genuine smile. "Oh, I got it." A short while later, we reached the gate of the lab complex. Vlad's eyes roamed over the stark white walls and what Iwan the votes were hanging back as I stepped forward. "Well, this is my stop. Thanks for coming with me and talking about stuff." "No problem. Guess I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place." A soft snort as one corner of his beak perked upwards. "I don't know about that, but here, give me your phone real quick." "Or, sure." I put it out of my pocket and handed it over. After he spent a moment giving me a silent, flat look, I took it back and actually unlocked it for him. He tapped and swiped his way over to my contacts, paused for a moment, looking at the screen, and then added himself before handing it back over. If we don't run into each other, shoot me a text." "Okay, can do. Have a good night, Vlad." "Likewise." For a brief wait, he turned on his heel and began to walk off. I watched him go for a moment and then made my way through the lab complex gate. "What's up?" This build adds day 2 of Vlad's route to the game. White put his nose in Vlad's business, then Victor and Todd got introduced to Vex. After Rex expressed how freaked out he is over Tucker's death to Vlad and his friends, they added that they are going to try to solve the case and see who the killer is. "So what's the thing of this day?" "Music to my ears. Wonderful to have you in my company. Now do me a favor and rate the game if you haven't. I'm kind of obliged to ask you this. Since you like it so much, tell me your thoughts on Vlad." "He's certainly unique compared to all the pieces of meat in this game. This darker than Nightbird has certainly taken a liking to you. Good for you. Consider yourself lucky. Join Shelley's page when to get early access to new builds and other benefits as his guide." And Shelley has been pretty motivated to work on By Your Hands recently, but he's also been pretty busy as of late. It's a pretty hectic but also an exciting time to be sure. We'll just have to wait and see what the future holds. That's all I have to say for today. Alright, we take those. Tell Shelley to get Bellatrix to bloom out hiatus. It's getting a little lonely. Today's War of HB number 57. The emotional or short-sighted by logic, or the logical or short-sighted by emotion. I didn't whine, but I think it's important to remember that not everyone shares our moral system. We're all very different, and that means that we have different ways of thinking. Keep that in mind when talking to other people. And that certainly is true. And I'm finished. I'm going to leave things like this. Ladies, you sexy peoples. Yeah, what he said there was correct. People do have different moral views, but you got people in the world who try to impose their morals on everybody. Like certain religions and certain countries. Anyway, so this so far in this route here, day 2 of Vlad's route, it's been very heavy on the plot, on the mystery of Tucker and how he got killed. While the other routes, you did mention some about Tucker, but for the most part, it was more about getting to know the characters and some romance also. But this was more about Vlad and Rex figuring out the mystery, like the murder mystery. What happened to Tucker leading up to his death after that party. So we got to meet his friends, and one of them I'm straight off known already. You've met before. The bat Victor is Yusuf's boyfriend. So yeah, he hasn't mentioned anything about Yusuf. So that's kind of odd. I mean, anyway, maybe he'll mention it in the future, but that he's Yusuf's boyfriend. But well, now that I think about it, we only got to know about Yusuf in Camille's route. We haven't really gotten introduced to Yusuf in the other routes. We only get introduced to him in Camille's route. So maybe, so I think now that thinking about it, you know, in this route and the other routes outside Camille's route, Rex doesn't know Yusuf because he's not on the football team like Yusuf is. So anyway, I don't know who killed Tucker, but I'm just gonna go with Leon for right now. You know, the suspect in my mind. A few of the other people on there on that choice could have been it. That bunny girl and maybe Connor. I don't think Connor did. He doesn't like him. Or he doesn't like Tucker, but I don't think he would do that. So I don't know who could have killed Tucker. I don't know if it's somebody from a rival family or I don't know. But anyway, we'll just have to play and see what happens. So we got to, in addition to Victor, we also got to beat the snake, whose name is, I forgot his name. That snake, but he's kind of like Mama Bell, you know, kind of like, you know, feminine. Though again, I think with Mama Bell, that's just a character that he plays. You know, the person behind Mama Bell, he just plays that as a character. I don't think he really is that feminine, like when he's off the clock. But this snake here, he's a male, but you know, kind of feminine, you know. So it's fine. Just be you. So and about Rex not being happy over their response to Tucker's death. I mean, just because Tucker got his head removed, you know, I mean, it's bad that Tucker died that way. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but just because that happened to Tucker, that doesn't mean everybody has to be sad and everybody has to attend his funeral and say nice things about him. And I mean, everybody's going to care. I mean, if you don't know somebody, you're not going to care that much about them dying. I mean, people usually only care when a family member or somebody very close to them dies. So even if I mean, just because he got killed that way, that doesn't mean everybody has to mourn his loss and feel sorry for him. I mean, he was, I mean, yeah, he was a good guy to the guys in the football team and the those he cared about. But if he didn't care about you, he was horrible. And certainly he treated a lot of people on campus horribly, including Vlad. So It seems like Rex thinks that everybody's supposed to mourn over Tucker's loss, but not everybody has to mourn over your loss just because your head got chopped off. I mean, not, if you're just a stranger or if you are horrible to people, people are not going to miss you. That's just the fact. So I do agree with what Vlad had to say in response to Rex. And Vlad's friends were the same way towards Tucker. I think they know about Tucker based on what Vlad tells them because they don't go to the university. They're not students there. They're all quite a bit older than college age people like Rex and Vlad. So they're like in their mid to late 20s. So I assume they don't go to that college, or maybe they did go to college previously and then graduated, but I don't know. But anyway, they're still a lot older than Tucker and Rex and Vlad are. So I don't think they have such a negative opinion. I don't think they have such a negative opinion of Tucker based on, their experiences. I think their negative experiences are based on what Vlad tells them because he goes to school with him, with Tucker. So, anyway. Alright, so, hope y'all enjoyed day 2. So we're gonna continue with day 3 next time. So thank y'all very much for watching. Goodbye.